Paramount Plus.
Cold for tonight, some limited lake effect east of Marquette and west of Marquette. But Marquette itself, I don't think you'll see much. We'll have more weather details at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, President Trump is unveiling more tariffs. This most recent one focused on steel imports. We'll have the latest. Plus, the president is also taking aim at U.S. currency, wanting to end production of the penny. We'll have reactions to this latest proposal. And we'll look at some of the causes that keep egg prices going up. Your 19 News at 11 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 11.
Checking out Marquette for Tuesday. Oh boy, it's a cold one there. We'll try to get to double digits here by the afternoon with a decent amount of sunshine. Then the clouds will increase later on in the day. But the wind's fairly light, so just those cold temps. Bundle up, hat, coat, and gloves, and the rest of the day tomorrow. Most of you will be lower teens, maybe mid-teens. Some lake effect, though, off of Lance and out toward Covington, and perhaps here east of Munising into Sault Ste. Marie. You could get a couple of inches of snow for later tonight and into tomorrow. Kevin, back to you.
Tom, thank you. President Donald Trump announced over the weekend that new tariffs targeting steel and aluminum imports could be on the way. WZMQ 19 News Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon has more details and reaction from trade experts about which sectors and products could be impacted.
President Donald Trump issuing a new tariff threat on Sunday.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff. What about aluminum, sir? Aluminum, too.
Vowing to impose a 25% blanket tariff on steel and aluminum imports.
You'll see price increases for everything from cars to toasters.
But some experts warn that tariffs can have far-reaching consequences, especially on steel-consuming sectors.
If you produce electronics, a dishwasher, if you produce Jeeps and cars, right, military equipment, if you produced refrigerators, right, all of which use steel as a component.
Susan Aronson is a professor at the George Washington University. She says other countries will likely strike back with retaliatory tariffs.
It's not as simple as what goes around comes around, but when you strike at the heart of other nations' economies, they will retaliate, and they will be very angry at the United States.
Trump's announcement Sunday comes just 1 week after he paused a 25% tariff on all imported goods from Canada and Mexico. Trump did, however, keep a 10% tariff on imports from China. Many Republican lawmakers support the president's approach. In a statement, House Agriculture Committee Chairman Glenn Thompson said, quote, President Trump's tariff policy has been an effective tool in leveling the global playing field and ensuring fair trade for American producers. Reporting in Washington, Brendan Scanlon, WZMQ 19 News.
President Trump does not see the worth or value of pennies. He says it costs more to produce a penny than its actual monetary value. Trump has ordered the Treasury Secretary to halt penny production. Our other Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp asks people if pennies are worth keeping.
In President Trump's latest move to reduce government spending, it could impact our piggy banks. On Sunday night, the president wrote on social media he's instructed the Treasury Secretary to stop producing new pennies, saying it costs more than 2 cents to make and describing it as wasteful. According to the U.S. Mint, they're directed by Congress, so it's unclear if the president has the power to eliminate the penny. According to the U.S. Mint, every penny costs about 3.7 cents to produce and distribute a penny in last fiscal year. The U.S. Mint lost about $85 million on the nearly 3.2 billion pennies it produced last year. A handful of countries like Canada stopped producing pennies years ago, and Australia withdrew their 1 and 2 cent coins from circulation. So we came down to the National Mall asking people a penny for their thoughts on the president's penny proposal.
I don't use pennies or money, like bills.
I think I carry like cash around, but like actual coins, like if I acquire them, I'll usually put them in like tip jars, but I don't like to keep them with me. Yeah. They're like kind of a hassle.
There's so many other things that the new administration could be focusing on rather than stopping productions of coins.
Will that have inflationary effects? Will that just affect the prices of items? Will they be 95 cents or will they just go up to $1.05? I don't know. But I'm interested in what will happen as a result.
So if pennies, went out of production, it wouldn't impact your everyday life?
No. I mean, I think it's more of like a nostalgia, historical thing at this point, right? So,
yeah.
So I'm indifferent either way, but if you get rid of it, it's not, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and not think about a penny.
In Washington, Rachel Knapp, WZMQ 19 News.
In Escanaba, the search has begun for the next manager of the Delta County Airport. Former manager Robert Randstadler had officially stepped down after announcing his resignation in December. The Airport Advisory Board is interviewing 4 candidates for the position this week, with hopes of hiring someone as soon as possible. Before he resigned, Randstadler requested a salary increase for regularly working more than 40 hours a week. Now the county intends to offer higher pay for the next manager.
We polled some local airports, found out what we already knew, which was we were behind. In December, the Board of Commissioners approved a salary range which is higher than what the last manager and assistant manager made. I believe $75,000 to $85,000.
Until a manager is hired, the airport is focused on enhancing its security, bringing in larger planes, and pursuing a terminal expansion. Anyone who has tried to buy eggs recently has likely noticed the skyrocketing prices. In the last year, the cost of eggs has jumped nearly 37%, according to the Consumer Price Index. Jen Sullivan explains what's causing the spike in costs.
Egg prices have hit a record high, and consumers are noticeably frustrated.
I'm in Walmart right now. Check this out. This is 12 eggs, cage-free large white, great value. This is the cheapest brand.
So what's causing this? Between November and December, prices jumped 14% due to a shortage of eggs. At the end of last year, the average cost of a dozen eggs was $4.15, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. As of February 7th, those costs have nearly doubled, jumping to $7.34, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. But some shoppers are seeing prices much higher than that average.
How did it jump from $5 to $18, almost $20? This gotta stop.
The highly contagious avian flu is fueling the nationwide shortage of eggs, causing the deaths of 130 million birds since 2022.
You can have 2.
Frank Hilliker, the owner of Hilliker Ranch in Lakeside, California, is limiting how many eggs customers can buy.
If you have a healthy farm, you're producing the same amount of eggs you've always produced. It's just those eggs have gotten a lot more valuable.
Big box retailers like Trader Joe's and Costco are also limiting their sales of eggs. The shortage has even led to egg thefts. In Pennsylvania, thieves stole about 100,000 eggs from a distribution trailer. And recently, outside of Seattle, thieves caught on camera stealing hundreds of eggs from Luna Park Cafe.
We couldn't order any eggs, so we had to drive around all the markets to get the egg.
Unfortunately, these high costs aren't expected to come down anytime soon. The USDA says prices are expected to rise another 20% this year.
Flu cases are surging in the U.S. The latest info from the CDC shows doctor visits for flu illnesses have reached the highest level since 2009. On CBS Morning, CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook stressed that in any given year, up to 41 million people can get the flu and over 50,000 people could die from the virus.
If you have some sorts of symptoms, how do you know if it's the flu versus just common cold?
Well, in general, the cold symptoms are from the neck and above. The sore throat, the cough, the runny nose, and all that stuff. Once it starts going below the necks and you feel aches and pains and fever, you can have nausea, vomiting.
Dr. LaPook says it's still not too late to get a flu shot, and if you come down with the flu, he advises asking your doctor about the medication Tamiflu as soon as possible. At least 43 states and the District of Columbia are showing very high to high levels of flu activity, and there have been temporary school closures in some areas. Tom DeVecchio has your first warning weather forecast when we come back. Plus, more technology is coming to make playing football safer for professionals and high school athletes. And we'll take a look back at some of the more noticeable commercials that aired during last night's Super Bowl. We'll be right back after this.
Save on everything for your next project during Menards Race to Savings Sale. Shop the largest in-stock selection of home appliances ready to take home today. Menards is the one-stop shop for big savings on dependable top brands like KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. It's the perfect time to update your home with new appliances from Menards. Race to savings for a Criterion front-load washer and electric dryer. On sale just $5.98 each after rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
19 News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture.
A progressive jackpot that grows with every play. That's what makes Fast Cash so thrilling. The jackpot keeps building and building until jackpot. Fast Cash, only from the Michigan Lottery.
Here's a business looking for a customer. Here's a customer looking for a business. And that's where the Better Business Bureau comes in. The BBB connects people with businesses they can trust. That's why 80% of people choose BBB accredited businesses over non-accredited ones with the same A+ letter rating. Live happily, better after. Always look for the sign of a better business because it's looking out for you. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
John's Auto is quickly becoming everybody's favorite place to get their car fixed. John's Auto is quickly becoming everybody's favorite place to fix their car. Was that right? For a better service experience, come to John's Auto Market. Why do I keep forgetting that word? Experience. Okay, go. 3, 2. For a better service experience, come to John's Auto Market.
And don't forget,
This is home for CBS, WZMQ 19.
Now, WZMQ TV19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Tom DeVecchio.
Checking out today's headlines, or tonight's headlines, really looking at a cold one for the balance of tonight, and just bitter cold on Tuesday. We should be able to break into the double digits, but not by much. But on the good side here, if you're not going to get a whole lot of snow here, good for traveling. Skiers, you may want a little more there, but certainly would be cold enough to make some snow. As for the kids, typical bitter cold start. Temperature here in Marquette will be close to 0. Fortunately, not a lot of wind. And when they go home in the afternoon, we'll try to get to the mid-teens. May not get that high, though. Still very cold. And again, very little in the way of precipitation. So winds, again, on the light side here through the day on Tuesday. So that's good news in the wind chill department, and also keeps any real good lake effect convergence from kicking in. Though we still expect some of the traditional spots before it switches to a light southerly flow as we head on toward the Wednesday morning hour. So futurecast, you can see for the balance of tonight into tomorrow morning, some lake effect here from Newberry towards Sault Ste. Marie, also near Houghton, Covington area. But Marquette, we're not going to really be affected too much by that. In fact, most of the time we get a decent amount of sunshine for the balance of the day. Clouds may thicken up late in the day as another weather system kind of skirts toward the south there with perhaps some decent amount of snow on the lower peninsula of Michigan. In the meantime, UP into tomorrow morning, Covington toward the coast, 1 to 3 here. Marquette, not much. Wisconsin border, not much. And maybe 1 to 3 here from McMillan toward Sault Ste. Marie. For tonight. And then for tomorrow, not much more. May tack on another inch in the lake effect areas. But you can see Marquette totals less than a half inch for the balance of tonight and into tomorrow. Will be cold. Lots of single digits. Below 0, Iron River, Ironwood with 9 out there at Eagle Harbor. Marquette, highs about 11 or 12. With the lake effect kicking in, maybe a touch milder from Munising out towards Sault Ste. Marie. Lawrence high temperature only around 8 degrees. We do rebound a little bit for Wednesday and Thursday, still on the cold side though. Mid-teens there, low 20s on Friday. Not much snow, check it out. So we'll keep not a whole lot of snow with this. A little better chance though for Saturday as the front goes on by there, and looks like mainly snow. Could be a freezing mix though farther south. And as that low goes by, bitter cold. This could be some of the coldest air of the season. We'll see for Sunday and into Monday as temperatures highs stay in the single digits and lows probably dropping below zero.
Tom, thanks again. The National Football League is making headway in combating head injuries. Collisions can trigger much more than just a headache. To make the game safer, the league is enacting new rules, encouraging more player awareness of the dangers and implementing better technology. Dr. John LaPook has more.
In the AFC Championship, Buffalo Bills cornerback Christian Benford was sidelined after suffering a concussion. In this year's Super Bowl, Philadelphia star offensive tackle Jordan Mailata was trying to avoid the same fate.
The headbutts are common. They're going to happen. It's what happens in the trenches.
He's hoping a new generation of helmets helps keep him in the game. As chief medical officer for the NFL, neurosurgeon Dr. Alan Sills helps lead the effort to reduce concussions.
Some of the most common symptoms we see are headache or disorientation, perhaps problem with memory. In rare instances, people can lose consciousness.
In 2015, the league began teaming up with helmet manufacturers to try to build safer equipment.
I think if you look at a helmet from, say, 20 years ago and compare it to today's helmet, there's several major changes. We have materials that do a better job at absorbing force and not transmitting that force to the brain. We've got better padding inside there. It's placed strategically within the helmet in different places, based again on where we expect force to occur and how we want to minimize that force.
Aside from improving equipment, the NFL has tried to decrease concussions by increasing player awareness and by changing certain rules. For example, by starting teams closer to each other and farther downfield on kickoffs to lower the odds of high-speed collisions. In 2024, there were 182 concussions during practices and regular season games, a 17% drop compared to the previous season. Neurologist Dr. Ann McKee is a pioneer in research showing blows to the head, even ones that don't cause concussions, can cause chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, leading to dementia. What do you think of the new helmets?
Looks like they have a lowered concussion rate, which is terrific news. Lowering the number of concussions, that means that the player is experiencing fewer hits. CTE risk is directly associated with number of playing years, how many hits you get, and how hard those hits are.
Dr. Sills agrees on the goal of minimizing any head trauma.
There is no concussion-proof helmet. Think of the helmets the way we do the airbags in our car or the anti-lock brakes. The best way to not get injured is to stay out of a crash in the first place.
A tough challenge in a sport where high-speed collisions are part of the fabric of the game.
Dr. McKee says she supports changing how kids practice and play and raising the age at which kids can start contact football. It's the only time of year we actually want to watch commercials, and many of last night's Super Bowl spots hit their mark.
What's happening? There we go.
From the very beginning, football's been a
Actress Meg Ryan said it was finally time to go there and revisit her iconic scene from When Harry Met Sally, all for Hellmann's mayonnaise. That was one of several star-studded commercials during the big game. Some spots played on nostalgia, like Budweiser's Clydesdale Full, or tugged at the heartstrings, like Pfizer's pediatric cancer patient, or a little girl who plants a potato for Lay's chips. Nike's spot championed women in sports. Experts say companies are trying to seize a very expensive moment with high quality and impactful advertising.
You're paying $7 to $8 million just to be in the game, paying celebrity, production, editing. It's really about brand awareness. As Nike said, there are not many cultural moments before where people are actually tuning in, you said it, for the commercials.
Yes.
And this is still one of those places. Yeah. So it's really about brand awareness.
This Jeep makes me happy.
Harrison Ford's 2-minute-long ad for Jeep felt like a mini-movie about writing your own story in life. Still to come on your 19 News, scientists are revealing a new way to make cheese that may be more environmentally friendly. We'll have the details after this.
This week on The Late Show, Steven's got Will Ferrell, Drew Barrymore, John Dickerson, and from Watson, Morris Chestnut. CBS This Week.
I thought it was just a rash, but it had a bullseye ring around it. My doctor said it was a tick bite. Luckily, we caught it early.
Ticks found in tall grass around your home can spread Lyme disease and other illnesses, which can lead to chronic health issues. The CDC estimates nearly 500,000 people across the country are diagnosed with Lyme disease each year.
I didn't understand why my brother was having so many asthma flare-ups. Sometimes he couldn't breathe. Turns out a roach problem at home was triggering it.
Allergens left behind by dust mites, roaches, and rodents are a major driver of asthma attacks, especially in children.
When I had a fever, body aches, and fatigue, I never thought it would have been West Nile virus. All it took was a mosquito bite while gardening.
Mosquitoes spread West Nile virus and many other diseases, and they can breed in standing water around your home. Protect your family from pests. Get the facts at pestworld.org.
The UP loves to be outdoors. Running, fishing, hiking, biking. If it's happening outside, you want to be a part of it. And this little baby is what you need to be ready. It's local and 100% free, 24/7. WZMQ 19's news app can show you the best times to be out, what to wear, how to stay safe, whether to bring along the kids. It's your problem-solving power tool. The WZMQ 19 app, now playing on a phone near you.
Direct.
Don't you ever look up at the sky and roll your eyes. You hear me?
Yes.
Realistic.
I will maybe have a tendency to
Spend too much and won't be able to pay your rent.
He holds the line.
I resent it, and I resent you for doing it.
Mathis Court is in session.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS. You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. The UP 200 runs through some very remote areas of Alger and Marquette counties. This poses a challenge for communications. With much of the route lacking cell service, the race officials turned to ham radios for clear communications. The network they use is comprised of several repeaters that send radio signals from Negaunee to Grand Marais, ensuring clear communications for everyone along the route.
We provide the repeater system that is the backbone for the communications. And they're all linked together, so when you're here in Marquette and you key your radio, it trips the repeaters in Marquette, and Negaunee Township, Wetmore, and Grand Marais, so everybody along the route hears every conversation.
The ham radio network will be operated by over 30 volunteers, with many working throughout the night. George Clooney takes on The Great White Way, and new episodes of CBS Favorites aired tonight. Bradley Blackburn has some entertainment headlines for you.
It's an all-new episode of the hit sitcom Papa's House tonight on CBS.
'Tis none other than the Foam Roller Mini.
Junior and Papa's relationship hits a rough patch when Junior agrees to film a commercial for JJ's Foam Roller Company, only to be ridiculed by Papa on his podcast.
Your show turned us into a meme on social media. Look at this. Right? It's not funny.
Oh, dear God. A thrilling new episode of NCIS is also on the primetime lineup, airing tonight on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. Actor George Clooney is gearing up to make his Broadway debut in Good Night and Good Luck, a show based on his 2005 film about CBS News in the 1950s. The two-time Oscar winner previewed the production last week.
It's a play we're very excited to do. It's not a civics lesson, it's an entertainment, and we're very excited to start.
Clooney stars in Good Night and Good Luck as the legendary news anchor Edward R. Murrow. Performances begin March 12th. And the Grammy-winning Alabama Shakes are teasing new music and hitting the road together for the first time in 8 years. The 2-month North American tour kicks off July 16th in Chicago, with stops at historic venues and festivals and appearances by special guests. Pre-sale tickets are available now. General sales begin Friday.
Whether it's cheddar, Swiss, American, or brie, cheese shares one major element, milk from an animal. But that could be changing as more companies look to shred the rule book in the lab. Tina Krause reports from London.
People have been churning out cheese for thousands of years with one key ingredient, milk from an animal, often a cow. But scientists inside this London laboratory are trying to reinvent the wheel by ditching the dairy.
This is the lab that looks at making cheese melt, stretch, and ooze like traditional dairy.
Yvonne Nagaraja is the CEO of Better Dairy and says his company is duplicating centuries-old cheese recipes with 21st century technology.
The only difference in our case is that there is no cow involved and it's sustainable.
Chief Scientific Officer David Nunn explains the secret behind their lab-grown cheese.
What we're doing is producing an essential cheese protein called casein using precision fermentation.
That protein is crafted into curds and mixed with a variety of natural flavors to create a range of cheese types.
That is undifferentiated from the cheese that you enjoy every day with a nice slice of bread.
Better Dairy is not alone. Several other startups are looking to revolutionize the cheese aisle. And more than a dozen companies are making meat in the lab by cultivating animal cells and then growing them. 2 U.S. companies have received federal approval, but there's been pushback, with Florida and Alabama banning the sale of lab-grown meat. Better Dairy is aiming to get governments to approve their process in the next 3 years.
Our benchmark of success is traditional cheese. We want products that taste like the original that comes from a cow.
Engineers are working to expand production to eventually sell aged cheese that tastes like a chip off the old block.
Environmental advocates say cultivated meat and cheese could be eco-friendly because the process uses less water and land and produces less waste. For more than 100 years, the teddy bear has been a symbol of comfort to people of all ages. On this Teddy Day, Jared Hill introduces us to an organization called Bear Givers that's working with students to spread kindness one teddy bear at a time.
This is Daddy Bear and this is Mommy Bear.
I mean, come on. Kids and teddy bears, unbearably adorable. But in this New York City classroom, they're also part of a bigger lesson.
I'm going to teach you a little bit about kindness.
Classroom visits like this one are part of what the nonprofit Bear Givers calls the Leading with Kindness initiative.
We just get to spread kindness through gift giving.
Bear Givers launched in 2003 as a way to brighten the lives of children in hospitals with teddy bears. As the program grew, middle school teacher Karen Feldman came along.
You guys are going to give these out to the kids?
Introducing it to some of her students in 2022, hoping initially just to make a difference amid a rise in hate speech at the school.
Talk to me about the idea of using decorating the bears in this kindness program as a meaningful consequence instead of just detention.
I wanted to have a program that would give students that jolt of adrenaline, but because they're doing something good. And maybe that would deter them, from doing something bad.
The act of kindness became contagious, spreading beyond the detention doors to other students who then took the reins.
We loved going to schools, and so we all thought, well, we should just continue this in high school.
I think we are planting kindness into them.
This class of kindergartners with cognitive and developmental challenges isn't just receiving a gift, they're passing it on. Decorating the tiny t-shirts on these teddies to take them to another group of students, continuing the chain of positivity.
Since its creation, Bear Givers has donated more than 500,000 bears. Now don't go away. Tom DeVecchio will have a final look at weather for us when we come back.
Update your home with new GE appliances from Kirkish Furniture and Houghton. GE appliances are built to last, have print-resistant finishes, and offer high performance with energy efficiency. Kirkish has a large selection for both kitchen and laundry, free delivery, and 0% financing.
Instant games from the Michigan Lottery. With dozens of games to choose from and millions of dollars in prizes, it's instant fun for everyone. And try our newest exciting games with $195 million in prizes.
This week on The Late Show, Steven's got Will Ferrell, Drew Barrymore, John Dickerson, and from Watson, Morris Chestnut. CBS This Week.
Yes. Oh, hi. I suppose you're wondering what an A-list celebrity like me is doing in a place like this. You must know, I'm saving the world. Oh, hi, Beth. Yep, saving the world again. Did you know that 40% of all the food produced in the United States is thrown away? That means everything that went into that food The pesticides, the water, the land was all for nothing. Just look at this perfectly good food thrown in the trash. The pizza with extra Cheerios, these goldfish and Band-Aid tacos. And just look at this perfect trash burger. This pasta dog looks delicious.
You don't have to dumpster dive like Ed Begley Jr. to save the planet. Fight food waste by shopping smart and using what you buy before it gets trashed.
That's way better. Ooh, arugula.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
She's fair.
Untrue, Your Honor.
What, you're going to have your turn.
She's inquisitive.
What in the world led to this young lady finding you in this compromising situation?
And firm.
The only thing that matters in this particular courtroom, sir, is how I see it.
Watch Equal Justice with Judge Ebony K. Williams.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS.
Some lake effect bands kicking in for the balance of tonight. Not so much here in Marquette, but off toward the east into Sault Ste. Marie and toward the west here near Houghton and Covington, where we could see a little bit of accumulation there. And most of tomorrow, the lake effect moves offshore at least by midday into the afternoon. And some sunshine otherwise here before the clouds tend to increase as we head toward Wednesday morning. Snowfall tonight, 1 to 3 in the traditional snowbelt areas, but most of you getting half inch or less. You can see Marquette barely squeezing out 0.3 of an inch of snow for the balance of tonight and into tomorrow. Cold temperatures, though, highs at best around 10-ish. They move up a little bit, mid-teens on Wednesday and Thursday, and we finally break 20 as we head toward Friday. Kevin?
Tom, thank you once again. Finally tonight, a rare flower that smells like decaying flesh is in bloom in the Australian capital, Canberra, today. It is Australia's unusual flowering of the Amorphophallus titanum in recent months. People in Canberra are gathering to get a whiff and take photos of the rare plant. Staff at the Australian National Botanic Gardens say the plant also heats up for a specific reason, to attract pollinators from kilometers away. The flower also pretends to be a tree with lichen-like markings. The towering tuber is about as tall as a person. And I don't want to get anywhere near that thing. That's all we have for you tonight, folks. We'll see you again tomorrow at 6/5 Central.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, she's the buzz of Broadway. My girl, Michelle Williams.
You're such a light all around.
Plus,
y'all should see him close up. I see why he's the Bachelor.
The Bachelor, Grant Ellis.
I saw you kissing on everybody. I love that for you.